feel like we need to make a separate video called How to Get Yourself to the Beach. I feel like I need some coaching from you.
Yeah, all you need is something to get wet in, go into the water, maybe a towel.
It's not that simple for me at all. It's this whole mental thing. I like where your head's at, just accepting the mess of the sand.
I mean, that's also how you perceive it, right? Because if you perceive it as a mess, then it's always going to bother you.
Yeah.
But if you could perceive it as like souvenirs from the ocean.
Huh. I never thought of it like that.
And daily reminders that you're in Maui and so much to be grateful for.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jen, and my mission for this video series is to help you live with an attitude of gratitude, which is why I spell gratitude with 2 T's, so that no matter the situation or circumstance you find yourself in, there's always a reason that you can choose to be joyful. And today I have a very special guest. This is Justine Fan, and we're just going to, talk more about our relationship, things we appreciate about each other, and we're gonna journal together. So I hope that you will join us today as we, just fill out our 5-minute journal. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so honored, like seriously.
So I started at this yoga studio just not too far from home in July. The first class I ever attended of yours, I was late because I had to come home, drop Brandon off, and then I drove back to the studio so quickly, and I hate being late to things. But I remember walking in, the class had already started. I felt like such an a-hole. And then Justine, you just looked over and you smiled, and I felt welcome in that very short interaction with you. Aww. So that's my first memory of you.
Yay.
How long have you been teaching yoga?
I have been teaching for almost
2015,
4 years.
4 years.
4 years.
And what about at this studio?
2 years.
We love this studio.
Oh,
it's been
I love the studio too.
It's so good. I can't explain it. There's something so magical about this yoga studio.
I would say it's the community.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a place for people to come to and kind of just put everything aside, and in our letting go of, whatever the day was or whatever the week was, mm-hmm. already we have commonality, mm-hmm. and that creates community. And then from there, so many amazing things happen, like our friendship and yeah.
So she's one of the gals that we do our weekly coffee shop dates with. And now it's this thing where every week we get together and we just work, and we're talking about how productive we are, right? In just the few hours that we have there.
Yeah.
I genuinely look forward to that.
Yeah, I talked about that this morning too.
Did you? Where?
With David. And David's my partner.
Do you remember when we first met, or how long we've known each other? I wish I could put my finger on a date.
Like I said, I thought I've known you for longer, or it felt like we were already connected somehow when we did first meet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. Our first coffee date. Oh no, because I asked you, can we hang out? But I'm like, yeah, but I'm not free for the next month. Do you remember?
We had to schedule that.
We had to schedule.
But then in between, she would come to my yoga classes, so we would every so often connect briefly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's oh my god, can we hang out in October? Yeah. Something like that.
I was really looking forward to it. I was
too.
every time I saw you, I was we're gonna have our date soon.
That first coffee date we had, we immediately just started talking about real stuff. And I always appreciate when I can do that. We really just skipped over a lot of the small talk, and we're so what are you doing with your life right now? What are you struggling with? And it just, we just really got to the heart of the matter. And I was wow, you're a good one.
Thank you.
First impression or a favorite memory?
Okay.
Between the two of us.
She asked these hard questions. It's only hard because there's so many, I feel even in the short amount of time that we've known each other.
I agree.
It's interesting that your first memory of me and that first impression is when you first came into that room, because my real first impression of you is you telling me after class that Scott, our mutual friend, had recommended that you come to my class. And I just got a sense of wow, this person already loves me and adores me even before she has met me, Oh,
you just got that from the Scott connection.
Well, yeah, and because the way that you came up to me, you're always so warm. I mean, ever since that first interaction, you're just like, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to come to your class, and like, I heard so much about you, and heart eyes.
I totally had heart eyes. Okay, now I have to, the favorite memory just came up to me that we have to share. So Scott, who is actually going to be a guest on this series
sweet.
too.
Okay,
Yeah, at some point. I'm so excited. He's our friend. He's also like a really well-known photographer here on Maui, and he's the one that shot pictures for like the CrossFit site, our website, our gym's website. And he has been asking me to go to yoga for like a year, because we met at CrossFit, and like every time I see him, he's like, come to yoga with me, and like hard no for a straight year. And then now I'm there, I'm like, Scott, I love yoga. Like, I'm such a fangirl of being at our studio. And I remember one time Scott and I took Justine's class, and the class was over, and he and I were rolling up our mats. And then he was like, hey, like, I have something weird I want to tell you. And I was like, okay. And, I love the weird stuff. And he's like, if I'm on my deathbed and I'm just refusing to let go, and, it's just like my soul just wants to leave, but like my body just wants to hang on. Like, I want Justine to be the one that's like, Scott, it's okay, just let go. Because it was right after her Friday class, and Justine has this gentle yoga and meditation class she teaches on Fridays, which you just feel like buzzed when you're done, like kind of like in the state of bliss. And I remember Scott saying that, and he's like, is that weird? I'm like, no, that totally makes sense to me. I'm like, Scott, you gotta tell Justine, this is a compliment. Can I go with you to tell her? So then Scott's like, okay, I'll tell her. So we like called Justine over. I was like, Scott has something to tell you. And Scott tells you the thing. And we were just like surrounding you like, we love you, you're the best.
Yeah, actually, that's so cute, you guys. Thank you, Scott, for so many things, including introducing her. But yeah, I think letting go is a big part of why we have so much fear and angst. Or, I mean, letting go is the practice that we get to have, right? And death, people, I mean, I believe, I haven't been there. I'm just speaking from what I've heard other people's experiences are, but it's like this, it is letting go of this world and who we think we are. I think a lot of people do have fear of death. And I think for me personally, what has helped with that fear is meditation and practicing, just letting go. Like, if I can let go in this moment, then when the time comes when it is absolutely necessary, it'll be a lot easier.
This is just how she normally is. So whenever I need perspective, I'm like, just tell me right now. Just tell me what to do.
I'm honored. Anytime.
Thank you. And this was like what our first interaction was like. I remember I was telling you a few things that I was struggling with, and you're like, how can we turn that around? How can we reframe that? And you just kind of naturally do that. And it wasn't intrusive or anything. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool to be able to see it from that perspective so much quicker with your guidance. Because I think I could have eventually gotten around to it, but it would have been like a lot of turmoil before.
Thank you for saying that, the guidance part. I think that is ultimately my mission, is helping people not just understand the concepts, but actually live it. And getting there the most efficient way, I feel like, is a teacher's purpose. I appreciate that you're so nourishing and you just want to take care. Like, you have this natural motherly like aura about you, and I feel like, and maybe that's why I feel so connected to you, because you're like a sister. It's like very natural for you to be so giving. I really appreciate that.
Thank you. It's funny because she walked in the door this morning, and like I offered her coffee because that's pretty normal, right? and then I offered her a Perfect Bar, which is a refrigerated protein bar, and she got so excited because she thought I offered her ice cream, and I was like, wait, but I have ice cream. Do you want some? She's like, yeah, I'll take a little bit. And I just sat here and I watched her eat ice cream
for breakfast
at 9:30 in the
coffee.
morning. I think what I really appreciate about you is I love how like gentle and firm you are. Like, I feel like it doesn't have to be this like, soft equals like weak and submissive. Like, you can still be like gentle and graceful and and loving, in the sense where in a conversation, I feel like if I were to say something and maybe I am being hard on myself, you're able to recognize it and then just come in and like kind of question it to help me think about it in a different way without like berating me or just like, fluffing it up and like, oh, that's okay, and just like dismissing it. So you're really inquisitive in that, and I really appreciate like your leadership quality, and that was very apparent to me when you organized this vision board party, which, oh my gosh, I'm obsessed with my vision board. I'm gonna have to share it on my channel at some point. The way that you led all of us girls, like she sat us down and she wrote out like this to-do list of like, here's all the things to bring and here's what I'll provide, and she's like, invite a friend. And then I remember like you sat us down and you like prompted us with like a journal prompt, and it was so fun. And I really liked how you were there as a guide, but you weren't like imposing anything too strongly on anyone, but you're like, I'm here if I can help you guys out, and then you just let everyone do their thing.
Thank you. I'm so glad you had so much fun.
It was
amazing. Yeah, I think with anything I do, I really try to set an intention, and my intention for that gathering was to have a supportive space for people who have never done it before, and then also for the people who had to just like have fun. Like I knew that the creativity was just gonna go wild. But yeah, so it was both and. It was like guidance, just kind of bumper rails, but you still have the freedom to do whatever you need to. We're literally raising our vibration by connecting with each other.
What do you mean by that? I don't understand this whole vibration thing. Can you do like a for dummies explanation?
Would you agree that you are a source of energy? Okay, and you can like feel your heartbeat and your breathing and all the things that your body does that we don't even pay attention to. So everything like happens on its own accord. And I guess the simplest way to describe or apply the understanding of rhythm or frequency is our heartbeat. Right? It's very consistent. A certain number of beats over a period of time. So that in itself is a frequency. Frequency is defined as unit of measurement over a period of time. So we are walking, talking, vibrating beings.
Yeah, so is that the whole good vibes, bad vibes thing then?
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that's the dummy version.
Exactly. So you are either, no matter what you're doing, you're vibrating. So you're always energy, you're always moving. And you can choose, as humans, we have the ability to choose what kind of energy we want to hold in our bodies. Even if, there are certain, when we react to situations, it's like our patterns, it's our natural reaction, like the tendencies, because it's so ingrained in us, that habitual pattern. But we do have the ability to observe that and choose to be a different way.
Okay, so being the observer of the experience that you're having, and then when you're aware of that, then you can check in and choose a different option, right? Whereas if you're unconscious, then you don't realize.
Exactly. So what I meant earlier when I said that we were literally raising our vibration is I feel giddy when I'm with you, like this girlish charm comes out, right? I feel like the sisterhood, like sisterhood in itself is like such a beautiful vibrational place to be. I feel like you don't feel that unless you're connecting with a sister. And in this connection, we are creating our future. I mean, we're literally creating this video right now for your YouTube channel, right? And I feel like I'm always inspired. Another thing I appreciate about Jenn is you inspire me, even without knowing it, like just by being you and your natural excitement for life as well. And just the way how you're so connected to people, it opens me up, and I feel inspired to be more in service to the world and put more of my gifts out there because you appreciate my gifts so much.
Thank you for saying that.
I'm just a mirror of you.
What are you like when you're angry?
Oh my gosh, like I will break stuff.
Oh my gosh, I want to see this side because you're
you don't.
So mad. I do. Well, I don't want you to be mad at me, but if you're ever mad, I want to be there as a witness.
Oh man,
I'm like that too.
I feel like as I've gotten older, the anger has gotten more intense. When I'm not there often, but and I'm also a lot more aware of it now, so I'll like find ways to like release it through body movement or whatever, and art, and just being in the ocean, great healing tool. Ooh, just even like thinking about it, I'm like, ooh, I get scared going there myself.
So like you're just like you just want to fight someone.
There's just like this explosive energy. I don't know like before, I would say I didn't know how to channel, and I would break more things like...
Oh, but you would actually break things in the past?
Yeah, like intentionally find something to break.
Ooh.
Like my parents' coffee table.
Have you done that?
Yeah. Sorry, Mom and Dad. No, but I mean, it's like...
This is wild. Yeah,
but it's like the emotion is so raw and real, and you don't really... I feel like it isn't necessarily natural, but like the way that our environment was created kind of stimulates us in certain ways that will trigger us to respond like explosively in a way that is not beneficial to all. Gosh, I'm not good. We could speak into that so much more too, with like repressed trauma and things like that. And I do feel like there's still a lot of my own personal trauma from my journey and stuff that I'm processing, and it's like little things that'll trigger me now, you know. And each time I get to like look at it and be like, oh, I wonder why I'm reacting that way. Yeah, anger is such an interesting thing. There is a lot of energy, and going back to like how we can choose, if we're aware, that same explosive energy through, if it can be expressed through anger, it can also be channeled towards passion. And from that, so much more can be created instead of destructed.
You just like, this stuff just flows out of you. Because I'm like, can we process my anger next time?
I'm actually really thankful that you say that it flows out of me, because it has taken practice. I feel like these concepts are so kind of ethereal almost. Like it's very abstract. And though we can feel it even when we are young, and to not have the words to like express it, and to have to express it in other ways, and through art, I'm so grateful for art, because you can express it in a way that's not necessarily verbal. But it's interesting to hear you say that it's flowing out of my mouth, because I've always struggled with like talking about these things that are so intangible.
And it's funny you say that, because I think about being in your yoga class, and when you are leading us through the meditation, I feel like you're speaking to me. Like, I'll have a thought, and then you'll be like, are you thinking that thought? Okay, this is how you're gonna let it. Or like, even when we're doing the yoga to accompany the meditation, I'd be like, ooh, my hamstrings are tight. You'd be like, are your hamstrings tight? Go and grab those blocks. And I'm like, Justine. And there's like all these other people, but the way that you lead the class though, it's so, I mean, to me, it's like just the way this is flowing out of you, this is what I know about you. So for you to, it's wild to hear you say like, wow, I have a hard time, you know, putting this into words. So that's really fascinating.
But the hamstring thing is very physical and tangible. But,
sure.
But I think I know what you're saying, because there are a lot of like sneaky things through meditation that I sneak into yoga that the students absorb, and unless you're like, unless you've taken teacher training, because there is this whole other side to like creating an environment and allowing these people to take in the experience so that they can heal and process. It is all very intentional.
So you're like brainwashing me. It's working though.
Towards your highest good, and thus the good of us all. Yeah.
So when you say like all this being articulate to practice, like how did you practice that? Is it just by teaching classes, or do you like actually try to sit and say these things out loud so that you could share it with people?
I guess in this sense it is a flow, because I set my intention, and then whatever needs to come for this person to understand and receive my intention, that's what's going to come out. And typically an intention for a class would be like, today I want people to open up their heart space. So then all of my cues during the class will be around like focus on the expansion of your rib cage, and like when we go through a body scan, maybe I'll pause in the heart space a little bit more and say like, soften that space around your heart, and so that I know my intention is at the end of class you'll walk out feeling really spacious and open and free. So then I just hold my mind on that, and then during the class it's like, oh, okay, now I guess it just naturally comes out like what to say is for you to get to that.
So you have the big picture goal in mind,
yes.
And then everything else that flows out of it is in support of that. So as long as you focus on that, like all the details, they'll come. You don't have to freak yourself out about all the little things.
Yeah. And it's good practice for me to just trust the process. Like I have been teaching, and now I can say that I've been teaching for a few years, which is crazy for me to say, because when I first started, my story at the time was I'm not that experienced, and yet somehow I was still teaching these amazing classes. So I think after getting the feedback from students like, oh my gosh, that class was amazing, I was like, okay, I can do this, and really show up in a way that is in service to people. And I feel like that's something I do well as I keep doing it. So now I can trust the process. Like I know how to teach if I just hold the vision of what my intention is, then I will just teach and show up to serve that intention.
All right, so it is that time now where Justine and we're going to journal together. So Justine just has her personal bullet journal, and she has the 5-minute journal template written out. So we're going to go ahead, spend a few minutes filling this part out, and then we'll come and share what we've written down. Do you want to go ahead and share the 3 things that you're grateful for today?
I am grateful for this experience of creating a video with you, because it shows me what's possible. Because I also want to create a YouTube channel.
Yes, thank you. I've been asking her when she's going to.
Coming soon. I'm grateful that it's a beautiful Saturday morning in Maui. Yay weekend. Yay happy Maui.
Like, do you still feel like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I get to live here? Like every time you wake up?
Yes, and actually that brings me to the 3rd thing that I'm grateful for, which is I'm grateful that receiving is a practice, because there's so much abundance and goodness all around us all the time. And we are the reason that we are not receiving it.
I have a really hard time receiving. Like, I want to give, but when people want to do something nice for me or say something nice, I have a really hard time just opening up my arms to that. You know, just like you need to inhale to exhale, you can't. Are you the one that told me this? You can't keep inhaling.
I don't remember.
Or just exhaling. Doesn't it sound like something you would say, though?
It does, yeah. I've definitely said that in a class or two.
Well, it's like you have to inhale to exhale, and it's like this
balance. It's this cycle. I also have the tendency to give more than I receive, and I think receiving actually is a big part of giving. It completes the action of giving for the giver, which, I mean, in this case I'm talking about Maui, and that's nature, but again, like all of us are nature. I mean, if not to be here to receive what nature gave us, why are we here?
Something to think about.
And I mean only in the sense to like further us in our growth and development and transformation and betterment for the world. What are your 3?
My 3, the first one is comfortable friendships. Those are so nice, right? And you described it perfectly. It's like the sisterhood. I'm so grateful for our home to be able to film here like this. Because I'm always like, oh, I mean, don't get me wrong, like our space is small, but I love our home. I often feel like, oh, I wish I had a bigger place. I wish I had a dedicated filming area. And it's always like this thing where there's kind of like a lack in the way that I speak about that. But like, I'm sitting here with you right now. I mean, we've moved over our dining table, and I'm so thankful that we get to do this. And the last one, I'm actually grateful for you accepting the ice cream at 9:30 in the morning. And I think that goes to the receiving thing, because honestly, if I was maybe going to your place for the first time and you offered me ice cream at 9:30 in the morning, I might feel like weird about accepting that. But you're like, yeah. And then when you thought I was offering you ice cream when I wasn't, you're like, wow, Jen's the kind of girl that would eat ice cream for breakfast too. Cool, you know? But you're like, yeah, I'll take some. And I'm like, yeah. And it made me happy to be able to give that to you and like watch you eat it, but not in a creepy way. You know what I mean?
That is freedom right there, to feel safe and open, to be able to just there's no consequence to. Actually, I should reframe that, because there is a consequence. It's more goodness.
Right, because it not only just benefits you, but it benefits the person that wants to share it with you.
When also in doing so, like setting the tone and the morale for what's to come later, right? If you were to like block yourself right there, you know, what else are you not seeing that is available to you?
Yeah, I sometimes after you say something, I'm like, and go think about that after.
More journaling prompts.
What are you going to do today to make this day great, Justine?
Well, I have a workshop tonight, so I'm excited to put the finishing touches on that.
I'm going to that.
And then deliver a great workshop. Yes. The name of the workshop is Sacred 7. The tagline is 7 chakras, 7 oils, 7 meditations. And it's basically using what we already are and understanding what is within ourselves so that we have an anchor to tune back into every time we're feeling like, what's my purpose? What am I doing? Why am I like angst, resistance to our highest selves? So going over some of the tools, including meditation and essential oils, which are nature's amazing gifts and tools. Gosh, I wish everyone could go to the workshop because there's really so much information. But my intention actually is what I'm looking forward to, and so grateful that we got to do this, is to have people leave the workshop feeling empowered to access their highest potential, using what is available and natural and reintegrating into nature in that way.
I'm so excited for your workshop.
Yay! I'm so excited.
You're making worksheets? Like we get to fill out worksheets? Should we bring our journals tonight?
You can if you'd like.
Okay.
What else would make today great? Oh my gosh, I just realized I actually only wrote down 2 things because my intention for the first one took up so much space. But
that's okay.
What would make today great is if I went to the beach. I think we often take that for granted here. I don't go as often as I would like, actually.
Okay, so then I have a question for you, because this is my struggle. I love the idea of the beach, right? But then I'm like, then I have to come back and take all the sunscreen off and like do my hair again and do all, like, how do you get out of that and to just go and just enjoy nature? For me, it's like this whole process that often stops.
Yeah, I just accept the process because it's mermaid life.
That free spirit life.
Yeah. I mean, it's really whatever it takes to, live your vision for yourself. I think that's a minor issue. Well, and then I think if it becomes a part of your routine, like if it's like brushing your teeth every day, like if you're going to the beach, there's going to be sand, then it's just routine to kind of manage that. And probably also the reason my car is sandy and I just don't care. It's like I live by the beach. I'm gonna go often. Why should that make me feel like I can just be okay about it.
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so later on I am filming another video, so I don't know that I would go to the beach in between that. It's just so much work. But I like where your head's at, just accepting the mess of the sand.
I mean, that's also how you perceive it, right? Because if you perceive it as a mess, then it's always going to bother you.
Yeah.
But if you could perceive it as like souvenirs from the ocean.
Souvenirs from the ocean. I never thought of it like that.
And daily reminders that you're in Maui and so much to be grateful for.
God, that's really good. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Souvenirs from the ocean. I'm probably going to ask you a million more questions after this.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, I'll come up with a third thing on the spot. What would make today great? If I celebrated at the end of the evening with like my own yin practice. I'm also teaching yin tomorrow, so.
Can you explain what yin is to people that might not know?
Yeah, so yin is a style of practice, or a style of the physical practice of yoga, where you are actually active in a pose that is static, so you're not moving. So it feels like you're a stretchy pose, but you're only going into it about 80%, and then kind of allowing gravity and the weight of your body to ease you into a deeper state. So it's a lot of long holds.
Long holds.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you to share, how long do we hold each of these poses for, roughly?
About 3 to 5 minutes.
I love yin yoga. I think it's one of my favorite types of yoga. So for me, what I'm going to do to make my day great is 1, filming and spending time with friends, because I am shooting 2 videos today. Eating nourishing food. My third thing that I'm going to do today is reading. Okay, and what's your affirmation for today?
I create more impact through the quality of my actions rather than the quantity.
Ooh. Can you say that one more time?
Yes. I create more impact through the quality of my actions rather than quantity.
That's great. I might steal that one from you. My affirmation today is, my strength lies in my being. And I feel like there's a lot to unpack there. But I think the way that I'm understanding it is, I feel like I'm always in the mode of doing. And sometimes I feel like just being myself is not enough. And I feel like that's going to be like a lifelong discovery for me, what that means to just be and to know that like I'm worthy without having produced X, Y, and Z. So before we close out this video, would you like to share some things that you have going on, and if people can find you on social media, like all that fun stuff?
Ooh. You can find me on Instagram. My handle is Justine TF, like Tooth Fairy.
Is that what it stands for? No, it's not.
It's my initials, actually, my middle name and last name.
Oh.
I think that's it for now. Yeah, everything else can be found from there. Instagram is where it's at.
So when are you going to start your YouTube channel? Can we get a projection?
That is a great question. You know what? I'm going to start before the end of the year.
Whoa.
Like December.
Okay.
Thanksgiving. Why not, right?
Yes, you totally
This is the month of gratitude, and I want to have you on my channel too.
I will be there.
Okay.
One of the things I really want to do with Justine is I want to film a video.
Did I just say that? I'm starting my YouTube channel.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. But one of the things I actually want to have you back on my channel for is I would love for you to lead us through a meditation of yours.
I'd love to.
Just to give us an idea of what your Friday classes are like. Oh my gosh, and we just set up a camera and sit on the mat, and I just want to meditate next to you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys take some time to journal today, even if it's just for a few minutes. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Namaste.